gracious Father, we thank you for your love, we thank you for your mercy, and we thank you for your kindness towards us. God, as we discuss the business of the town tonight, we ask that you would just give us guidance, God, and that we can propel this town in the direction in which it needs to go. God, we want to be powered by partnership, God, and relationship throughout the town. God, and just continue to cover us and touch our first responders as they do the great work that they do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Following the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have roll call.
Here.
Nixon Lane, District 2, Justin Flowers.
Here.
Then District 3, we have Courtney Whitaker.
Here.
Okay, then we have Mayor Charles Schuber.
Here.
District 4, Todd Atkins.
Here.
District 5, Selena Turner.
Here.
First item on the agenda tonight, and I think I have the privilege of making an announcement here that one of the residents of the town of New Brockton has been inducted into the Alabama Senior Service Center Hall of Fame. Is that correct? And thereby we have a proclamation that I would like to read as Faye steps forward, please. This will take a little while, but it is a good proclamation, I think. And again, this is for Ms. Faye Richardson.
That'd be me.
That'd be her. Whereas Ms. Faye Richardson has devoted her life to serving others with commission, humility, unwavering commitment, and has become a beloved and respected figure across the town of New Brockton and the greater Wiregrass region. Whereas for the past 6 years, Ms. Richardson has served as the director of the New Brockton Senior Center, leading with kindness, energy, selflessness, far beyond expectations of her role. And whereas Ms. Richardson has consistently gone above and beyond her duties, personally delivering meals to shut-ins, coordinating transportation and care of seniors in crisis, using her own time and resources to ensure that no elderly resident is left without food, dignity, or support. And whereas her leadership has transformed the senior center into not only a vital service hub, but also a place of warmth, connection, and care for the countless citizens. And whereas Ms. Richardson has been selected as a permanent member of the Alabama Senior Citizens Hall of Fame, class of 2025, one of the highest civilian honors bestowed upon the senior citizens of the state of Alabama. I'd like to mention that this will happen in the state of Alabama on August 10th, so Wednesday, correct?
No, it's a Friday. Sunday.
Sunday, okay, on August 10th. Whereas her life of extraordinary service and sacrifice while also caring for her own grandchildren, spouse, and aging parents has left a lasting mark on the lives of those she has touched. Now therefore it is be proclaimed that I, Chuck Schieffer, Mayor of the town of New Brockton, Alabama, do hereby recognize and honor Ms. Faye Richardson for her dedicated and faithful service to the elderly, her community, and the state of Alabama. Be it be further proclaimed that Monday, July 7th, shall be officially declared Faye Richardson Day in the town of New Brockton in honor of her introduction into the Alabama Senior Citizens Hall of Fame and upcoming retirement after a lifetime of service. Let this proclamation be entered into the official record and presented with the deepest gratitude and pride on behalf of the grateful town and state. In witness of, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of New Brockton to be affixed the 7th day of July, 2025. Signed, Charles Schieffer, Mayor of Town of New Brockton. So we can.
All right. Thank you.
Whatever. Now do it again. Also in recognition, we'll give it to in a second. We would like to present Faye with the key to the city.
All right, and thank you.
You get to speak, ma'am.
Okay, you know I never shut up. But since I'm not going to give my report tonight because we're going to leave in a little while. But has anyone been by and seen our new doors at the senior center? They look good.
They look good.
We got both doors and storm doors for a total of $1,850, which was a good price because they're metal doors.
That's awesome.
And that leaves $3,900 in the craft account.
Thank you very much. And you know, Ms. Faye, if you or your party need to depart, just let us know.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe we'll place on conduct the business.
We'll take a short break while.
and thank you so much.
Congratulations, Ms. Faye.
I thank you for all the support that the council gave me during these 6 years. Oh, yeah, I forgot I didn't pay it.
My room. Like 1995.
Oh, wow.
Next item on the agenda is the review of the minutes from June 2nd.
Motion to move forward with that June.
We've been minutes, okay. What? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Yes.
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 Next item on the agenda is review of the minutes, June 2nd, 2025.
Eric, I just have one correction. It's on the time. Statement title. It's just a correction to PM instead of PM. It's just a typo. That's literally it. I see so far.
Do we happen to know who made the public comment?
It was a member of the county commission.
Was that Clinton made this a member?
Sitting in the back. No one asked for it.
That's it.
So moved upon the correction.
Second.
Yes.
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 June 16th was the working meeting. Short.
sorry, I know that's so silly. I just-
So moved on the work session agenda.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
This is the work session that was just a council meeting because of no quorum. No, there'll be a, you just pass it on down. Pass that one down. We'll pass that one down. Flip past the minutes. You find a certificate of election resolution.
He's kidding. He's kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll go back. Yeah, my fact, I was going back a little bit. Whole business. I would like to, and this is informational because we can't, you guys have not seen all of this, but pass these down, please. We have two offers on the old city hall. I'm handing these out so you can review them and we can discuss them during the upcoming working meeting. We do not have to accept offers on the city hall. We can deny the offers. We can ask them to adjust the offers. But again, something that I think you need to look at, and we'll make comment during the working meeting. And if there is a consensus on either of these, we can vote on them during the next major council meeting. Now, on the new business, as part of the election process, we have to have a certificate of election, resolution 25-02, and the undersigned hereby certifies that Alan Rodriguez, Justin Flowers, Courtney Whitaker, Cody Reeves, and Selena Terrell have been the only person to file statement of candidacy for the office of council member, place 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the City Council of the Town of Brockton, and hereby declare duly elected to the office of council member, place numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, commencing on the 3rd day of November 2025. Given under the hands of saying the requirements of section 114623 Code of Alabama. Any questions on the election information that we are proceeding forward with?
We do sincerely apologize here at the town of New Brockton, but during the recording of the video for the July 7th council meeting 2025, the sound file for part of the meeting got corrupted, and I have done my best to pair the video with the recording for the meeting, and I'm going to play both of those now.
Next item is if you would review the bills for July, signed for July of 25.
I have questions. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The Meridian Waste, Gracie. So I see where we have the monthly garbage fee, you know, that big total. And then we have AVR, like the monthly service, garbage software, delinquent letters. So is that like a report that they run, or do you run it yourself? Like, why are we paying extra for, you know what I mean?
So this time, I decided to do the delinquent letters through them, so they packed them and everything. There was 101.
Was that like cheaper than what we were doing with you doing it?
I wanted to find out, because if it is,
But
then
is
it
it?
saves me time from, I would have to pack every one of those and stamp every one of them to send them off. And if it's cheaper, then this, I haven't seen the new bill for the APR delinquent letters, so I didn't even know it came in.
Yeah.
I'd like to make, once we get down to the garbage report, make a comment on that, because I think there's good results.
I think so too.
We'll talk about that at the garbage report.
So with the monthly, it would have just been the $70 and the 40 cent, not the $8.97, right?
Yes.
I don't know the figures as far as how much they charged. I didn't see a bill from the IVR.
So the AVR was,
That's the computer software.
Yeah.
okay, so that larger number, it's not additional to what we're paying already for the service, right?
Well, yeah, it is.
Yes.
So this month is the first time that we've
Yeah.
had the
The delinquent letters, yes.
The delinquent letters,
The
okay.
delinquent letters through the bill printing software.
Okay.
Because it's what, 60-something cents per stamp,
Yeah,
I think, somewhere 60, 70 cents.
that's right. And I'd like to talk, that's one of the items I wanted to bring it up during the garbage report,
Okay.
because I think she has good numbers.
Alright, don't come at me, okay? I love this broken down like this. But, can we see, so with it broken down on this sheet, we can't see what previous months were? Is this just this one month? We
You have
don't,
to go to the spreadsheet.
this one?
Wherever it says
Illustration.
yeah, you would have to go to the spreadsheet.
Just out of curiosity, what was the $504 that's ailing truck and tractor for the street department? We had if I'm not mistaken, a couple of pulleys replaced on one of the decks. But I can confirm that, but I think that's what we took it over there for. For one of the work, the zero turn motors, getting some of the, I think we had two, not the pulleys, the round things that the drag belt goes around. Is that the pulleys? I guess, I don't know. Yeah, we had those replaced on the deck. questions or comments?
No, sir.
I do. Right here on these specific addresses under the New Broughton garbage,
Where are you?
on the monthly expenses, and I remember seeing this. The Bester Cole, John Street,
Yeah, I see what you're.
right here. So this is like what we paid to have somebody come pick up the trash or the stuff sitting by the road, or
No, because we don't, they pay us if we go and pick that up. I don't understand those myself, Mayor. Under the Brockton garbage, you got the address of 130 Vester Cole and 202 South John Street.
What y'all got?
I don't know.
There were two trash cans for Vester. There were two trash cans for Vester Cole, 1534, and then I should have moved 202 down. That's Old Town. That's the part.
But what's the bill?
yeah.
Well,
So
those-
what's the bill for? Is it because we hired somebody?
Trash cans. Yeah, trash cans. We pay the
Oh,
senior
those-
center, and then our trash cans.
That's what those are, yeah.
We have two at the park, and then we have the
Okay, I got you now. Gotcha.
We'll highlight that.
On the administration costs of the office supplies, it just seems like it was an increase for this month. If I'm looking at it correctly, I could be wrong and I'll stand corrected. But
What did you say?
on the administration costs for office supplies on the second page, in April, it looks like we had a $272, in May, $167, and then in June, it went to $1,300. If I'm looking at it correctly.
Yeah.
Do we have any receipts for any of this?
in the auctions.
Or can you verbally tell me what we purchased?
I'm wondering if that's a typo. I don't know, 'cause
Anybody know?
There was a lot of office things. I mean, for the filing cabinets that I have, I had to buy the inside components plus the hanging files that go in there. We buy copy paper for the police department. They just recently requested a lot of stuff. That's just miscellaneous items that we had bought.
We'll collect up those receipts for that month.
We also have a 4,000 pre-approved budget already that we have. Try not to use it all, but
yeah, I mean, it looks like we've got 200 and some odd change left. It's not much. Yeah.
The police department's requests don't come out of the police department budget?
we don't have that for them.
Wait, what?
We don't have that for them.
No, that's covered by the town.
An office budget for them. Do that.
Yeah, but see, that should be on here, police department office supply budget.
We didn't do that the last time, but now we're going to do it. We do the new budget. We're going to add those to it. So everyone can have their own.
This is the budget as it was approved last September.
Yeah, we didn't do that then, but we're going to do it now.
just want to say this. Transparency is the number one thing that we got to ensure is on the forefront because of public perception. You got a group of people out here that's wondering the same thing that I'm wondering. What are we spending our monies on? And I got two people that don't have a clue as to what has been spent. Those are some of the challenges that we're having because we're lacking transparency on these issues and these topics. If the council has a question about something, you should be able to remit whatever it is that they're looking for easily. We need to have a system in place for good record keeping. Because at the end of the day, we have $1,300 right now. We don't have a clue where the $1,300 went to. You can't tell me that $1,300 went to paper. And if it did, that's a misappropriation of funds because we should not be spending $1,300 worth of paper.
Next time I do this, I can, instead of printing it out, see, like this, I can make copies of all the bills for you.
Just something that's more clear for us to understand so we'll know, or you all notate what you have.
I was just told it was too much, so that's why I didn't do it. Too much paper involved.
Well, I mean, we're spending $1,300 on paper. We're spending $1,300 on paper.
It's not $1,300. We'll get the receipts. That's, if you want to see the receipts for every one of those line items, we can do that.
They're in my office.
Well, we're not going to do that tonight. This is the reason why we're trying to go into such detail, so we have more eyes
Yeah,
on the
and
information.
that's what I meant. I didn't mean to be smart alecky about that. What I meant was, is if we're spending that much money on office supplies, we should be able to be as detailed as possible when we're in here, if that makes sense. So, you know, if it's too much,
Well, I was told
it's too
too
much.
much because it's too much paper involved. But next time I can print them all now.
But it does look like we're already in the red, you know, for the street department shop balance.
And then you,
Yeah.
there are several reds in there, and what you're going to see is that the overall budget is still in the green.
But are we reallocating funds? Those are the things that we need to be looking at is if we have something in the red and we have another area that's in the green or the black, we need to try to reallocate funds so it doesn't continue to be in the red.
Or do you see why it is in red?
And what adjustments we need to make.
Yeah. What caused it to be in red? And of course, this last budget was the first time since I've been here. So
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So it was like throwing something against the wall, see if it stuck.
I think you're going to see that the budgets are going to come out fairly well. We've reviewed one of the departments already. We plan on reviewing two more and putting them in front of you at the working meeting. Yes, these are all proposed that by the middle of September, the first meeting in October, the council needs to approve the budget. So this is a 3-month exercise. But if you remember last year, we went through the whole budget at one working meeting, line by line. We're trying to spread it out a little more and not have and not have the very long extended meeting, so by September, we should have most of your questions answered.
I do want to make a comment that all of this looks so great. Tell the effort that went into this, and I love how easy to read it is. Thank y'all, everybody for help. I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. I got one more comment, and I promise I'm gonna leave this alone, but it's just imperative on finances. The street department's credit card, I mean, we're up to New Brighton Elementary School math $900 on the third quarter. The quarter before that, we had less than half of that. The quarter before that, we had even a fraction of that. What has the street department done to have $900 worth of fuel?
I thought to take it a step further and say it's $1,400 in the red. Wait, am I looking at the wrong thing? Is it $1,400 in the red?
It could be.
Street department,
I-
$1,400.
I might be able to help you a little bit with this one. It's over $100 to fill the grapple truck up. Well over $100.
So the first month we didn't do nothing at all. The second month we thought about riding around, and then the third month we got really, really busy, and now we're up to $1,000 in fuel.
That would be the way it would seem.
Did y'all see this?
Well, the only reason I know
April is considered a winter month.
The only reason I know how much they turn the receipts into me and I itemize them off of the inland bill. So I cross each ticket off that they give me to make sure that it's there. And that's how I know it's over $100 to fill that one truck up.
I know this has been a conversation several times. However, do we have like documentation? How many times did they pick up each month? Like, do we know how many yards they went out to and picked up? I mean, is the expenses?
No, and if you want to nitpick how many times they pick up, I'm not keeping track of how many times he goes down the street and he picks up trash. Or picks up weeds or whatever.
Well, it should be simple. It should be only twice a month.
It should be twice a month, that's correct. Unless I send them out someplace.
Well,
They don't
And that happens.
both times a month.
And I understand that, but
You ain't going to.
if they're only going out 2 times a month and they're spending this much money and then people's leaves and limbs are still not being picked up, then I think we need to see is the expenses.
It's not just the trucks, it's also the lawnmowers, the pickup truck, the, bug truck. It's not just the one truck.
They run a bug truck? I didn't
They have
even
a
have
tractor.
bug truck.
We run the bug truck.
Let's
Mosquitoes.
roll on. Let's roll on. This thing.
You should make a decent for this thing.
We're up to you, Courtney.
Say it like that boat truck.
You gotta vote.
But yes, it's up
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Next item is the credit card statement.
What's splash top? Splash top.
The very first page.
Oh, that's so I can access different computers. That's what that is. That's a software.
bit like
So
your,
you can access computers throughout the town.
Only things.
so that's like your VPN.
That's a lot of money to access one computer.
Well, we had more computers.
Make a motion to approve the credit card statements.
Second.
Yes.
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 Ms. Gracie, you have a garbage report.
Your first page is your cutesy little pie graph.
Louder?
Oh, you want me to yell?
It's
Your,
fine.
your first page is your cutesy little pie graph. There's not a whole bunch of information on there. I just find it helpful for me. Your second page is your June actuals. We were in the green, $114.38 on that one. Your July projecteds, we're projected to be $112.29 in the good on that one. This is a copy, your third page is a copy of the bill that I get. And she started giving me a preemptive bill so I can have it in time to give you guys how much. Because we just received the Meridian bill today, the actual bill. This is a preemptive one. Now, then you have your delinquent lists. The green ones are the ones that have come in and paid. I think there's, by my count, was 36 left out of the 101.
This is where I'd like to make a comment about, I think the letter she sent out was very successful. We had 68 people come in and pay delinquent fees.
Well, I
Above and beyond, so
what's-
we're down to approximately how much money in delinquents?
I don't have how much we're at now.
I think you told me somewhere in the range of a little over $2,000.
So
we were
Around 2,000, but I send delinquent slips out every month.
Well,
So
that's my question is what's different about what they sent and what you sent? Is it because they have their name on it and it looks more, like, what's the difference?
I don't think there is any difference except for the fact that it takes me a day and a half to pack up all these envelopes and work the computers and take in customers. So it's a lot easier to click a button, let them pack the envelopes and send them off and continue with the things that I'm working on. I did it.
Does it change anything about the date they were arrived?
Nope, not at all. And honestly, they get done earlier because it's a company that does it. So they get them printed, packaged, and shipped same day. If it takes me 2 whole days to get them all packed, then that's putting back the time that everyone's getting their delinquent letters.
So your role is essentially to take payment, establish new accounts, and ask the street department to pick up cans once they haven't paid.
Yes,
So you're no longer doing the billing, like the
No.
city amount.
I do all of that.
Billing, just the delinquent.
I do all of it. I
The
send
billing-
out the bills
billing-
through
the
that.
Billing and what she's talking
I don't
about.
package the bills in-house. That has always been done through the AVR company.
So I have one question or something I'd like to bring up on this particular subject. You're the only one that knows how to do this, right?
I'm not the only one that was trained on it, no.
Do we have somebody else that can do this job if she was to drop dead tomorrow? Or do
We
we
don't
have?
have, we
do
don't have
a
anybody
single-
in this organization.
Do we have a single point of failure is what I'm asking.
Across this organization, yes.
It might be time to start getting somebody trained to be able to do that job in her absence.
Okay, if you would like to add that to our budget for next year,
Sure.
you know, there's a couple of people that we need to add to the budget for next year. If that's something we want to add in, an additional administrative assistant in the office,
Or you can cross-train somebody that's already in the office.
I agree, do something.
no, there's too many, he takes bills and helps with some of that, but this overall program there, he is way too busy to do.
If you're asking if Eric did the exact same training that I did, so he can do the exact same things that I can do. We did the exact same trainings.
Do you feel like you could step in and do the billing if she wasn't here?
No, they haven't done it.
The training, I received the same training 5 months ago. And I could take bills if I needed to, but I'm not gonna be able to do the billing or the delinquent forms.
There's also a
Nothing
manual.
personal, but I would also make a comment that we gave a raise for this program. So,
And she's been executing,
a raise.
The way we're already in the negative for some of these budgets, there's no way we could put a third person in the office. There's,
I think you're gonna have to wait until we start discussing the overall budget for the town. This is last year's monies you're looking at.
and we just lost a business in town, so we lost that revenue. And we don't have a new business up and going yet, so I mean, next year, chances are we're gonna have less revenue to work with than we did this
No,
past
I
budget.
disagree, because that Max Travel Plaza is going in.
When are they gonna start breaking ground on?
This end of this month, first of next month. Part of my comments are that as of first of July, end of June, his SBA and bank loans have been approved. So he is working on getting his contractor to start filling in that hole. End of this month, 1st of August, is the information I was given.
I think until we get policies set in place, you're just throwing money. Until you get the organizational structure down and the management of the town on who does what, get defined duties, responsibilities. You're just wasting money.
And I did not take the entire training like the way Grace did. Money took a push.
Well, Eric, I don't think it would be fair to put that on you, especially again, since we gave a raise for this exact position. That makes any sense. Well, again, I don't think that would be something.
The only point I was making was not necessarily adding another body. It's just having one of the bodies that are in the office be able to function
And
enough.
Your
Whereas
suggestion is to have
if
who
she
do
got
it.
sick and she couldn't come in for a period of time, there was somebody else that could do the job in her absence. That's just having a little redundancy. It's just normal good management practice. This is nothing special or nothing out of the ordinary. Most successful
And
businesses on the planet do that.
Your plan to do that?
Well, there's 3 in the office, right? Who's got
I'm
the,
not-
who's
I'm
got the
not
most
doing
time
it.
on their hands?
I'm not doing it.
Okay, so you refuse to help. That's fine.
No, I said I can take billing. I've done that before.
Is the mayor, you gotta ask yourself too, is the mayor allowed to do that?
Why wouldn't he be able to?
Well, I thought the whole intent of the software was to offload.
I mean, it does.
It does.
It does. And there's a manual that comes with it. The manual is, this thick. It
Well,
is
that's what I'm
very
saying. If you're
detailed.
so burdened by
I'm-
this, then
I'm not.
maybe the software wasn't, what does it actually do?
I'm not
What
burdened
is
at all.
that? She's not.
Do what?
She isn't saying she's burdened by it.
That seems like what I get from it, is that you're overworked and.
You didn't say that.
So what are we doing here?
Well, I mean,
We're just finishing up the garbage report, which I put in front of you.
So, in doing the delinquents that way, I was trying to keep from having to package and stamp and send off 101 delinquent letters myself. That's the only thing that is a burden, is packaging all of these delinquents.
And that
Because-
program, I think, was successful. Now,
Yeah.
this month, we're only sending off 38.
Mm-mm.
You have-
There is, no, those delinquent letters have already been sent. There are still like 38 people who have not paid.
Yeah.
So next month, on the 15th, if people haven't paid by the 15th and they come in and pay on the 16th, there's going to still be 101 delinquent letters that have to go out. There's no way to resolve that. There's absolutely no way to resolve these delinquent letters. It
You're
is.
only recouping this month's worth.
Right. So that's the only thing that is burdensome, is a burden, is packaging these 101 letters. Or more. Sometimes there's more. That's the only thing that's a burden.
I would be interested to know what's the cost difference. Like, if you were to package them yourself, what would it cost versus what they're charging?
And that's what I was trying to do. I wanted to do it the one time and break the cost difference down because we pay for the envelopes, the stamps. And if it's only it's like 60 something cents for each bill that goes out. And if they're only charging me 60 something cents for each delinquent letter, that's cheaper by a few cents because we're not paying for the envelopes, we're not paying for the stamps and everything, the ink for the printers, the whole bit.
So what about are we moving forward on a policy for the people that are already at like 120 days with pulling cans?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm attempting to pull cans. We'll put it that way. We're attempting to pull cans. Now, if people are hiding their cans, we can't go up into their yard and get the can. We can only grab it if it's on the side of the road.
You can, but you can show up on Monday morning with the street department right in front of the little garbage truck. Say, once you empty it, thank you very much. And instead of keeping this
If
going,
they take the can out to the road, yes. We cannot pick up a can that's full of garbage.
I understand.
So if the cans are out on the road after they've been picked up, we did this over on Birdville Road. Guy came, we picked his can up, he came in the next day and paid $158 to get his can back.
I can only do so much. If the can isn't getting picked up, I'm still charging them. That's why some of these are so high. Like this one that's at $218. We can't get their can from them. And so I'm still charging them because they're still receiving
Well, again,
services.
when you say you can, they take it to the mayor and you have the street department waiting right there. So they gotta empty it sometime.
Well, at some point too, though, like, is the can their property?
It's not, but we're not allowed to go on their private property.
So what do we need to do to research on how to retrieve it legally? You know what I mean? That's what we need to move forward next.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm good with this.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to go door to door.
Legally, like, go about it with those right
Next item down, unless anybody has any further comments about the garbage report. We have a candidates list, just for your information, looking at what's going to be going on the absentee ballot, and the ballot for the election will be the mayor's office.
And the absentee ballots, I do have a template in my office for anyone that calls in and requests one. So far, no.
Any comments on the election calendar or where we're headed so far? Next item down, fire department report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So last month we had 54 calls for service, 5 fire alarms, and you have this report in front of you. 5 motor vehicle collisions, 41 medical emergencies, and 3 miscellaneous calls. One of those is the call with Mayor. We went and assisted the street department with the tree and all.
Oh, we're on,
Yes, on Spark Street, is that where it was you called?
yes.
Just so you answer, that's the miscellaneous calls for down trees and stuff like that.
Could you expand on some of the medical emergencies? Were they
So
in
they
or around the town of New Brockton, any of them?
Yes, sir. The majority of them are. There is some that are outside within our jurisdiction that we cover within our fire district, and they range for medical alarms, heart attack calls, stroke calls. I know that we assisted Enterprise Rescue like 2 or 3 landing zones for the helicopter pickup. We did one this past Friday afternoon.
The landing zone is used over by the high school?
Majority of the time it is. Sometimes it's just according where it's at. We land at the farm centers, like this call we had Friday up, where's my memory where that was? It's up there in Jeter subdivision. We set the one in the front yard. So the closer we get to that. And that's it. And I would like to say, if y'all think about giving raises next year, I'd like to have one in your budget.
Well, we appreciate everything that all of you do so
Well,
much.
and I will say, just so you know, I started my career in 1987 in New Brockton, and that's where I've been. So we have, I will tell you, we got one of the best departments amongst all the counties. Not to say that they're not any less we are. Over the last 5 years, we've got FEMA grants. I got a phone call the other day with a favorable grant. I'm hoping it's for a new truck. We'll see. But with Grant and Cody service, and even working with Dale, the police department, I put our people up with anybody. So we appreciate it and appreciate what you do. We do try to do what's best and try to make everybody happy. Just sometimes we're not successful.
Well, we appreciate
Well, we
all
appreciate
of you.
y'all. Thank you.
Next item down is the police report.
Before you do.
No, excuse me.
In regards to the elections, right now we're in need of poll workers.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
You are?
Yes. Go ahead, Dale.
Not the June 7th meeting, one drive suspended, 2 expired tags, 8 1 citation, 2 off the truck, 1 away juvenile, 2 live recovered within an hour after she ran away from home. 1 intimidated witness, see that information on reports, that's when we'll go out and just take this information, maybe a dog complaint or just anything like that. There's nothing we send into the state. We just have in-house reports and all that is. 1 theft of property, 2 domestic violence, 1 warrant arrest, 2 harassments, 1 criminal mischief, 1 criminal trespass, 2 medical alarms. We go to no medical calls in the jurisdiction and civil limits.
As we mentioned, Dale, we brought in the officer we're gonna put into the reduced training program yet?
No, so we won't bring him on for another 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. We're looking to hire that additional officer.
Is this guy certified?
Yes.
Okay.
He's
Because there's an issue.
I understand. No, he is certified already. He has to go through a refresher course.
You know where I was going, right?
Oh, yeah. About 3-week refresher course, correct?
Correct.
I would just like to make a comment for future reference, and this goes to you, Chief. If you're ever thinking of bringing anybody on board and having the town sponsor them to go to the academy, there needs to be something in writing, and that candidate needs to be made fully aware that if he fails out of the academy, he is responsible for the cost.
Already drafted.
Wanted to get it on the record.
But you're correct, and we're already working towards that. The letter he signs will have that information in it. Senior Center report. I'd like to introduce Natasha Culver as our new director of the Senior Center. She is working very closely.
Welcome, Ms. Natasha.
She's working very closely with Faye and has already had 2 days of training from Summer Co-op.
Awesome. Glad to have you.
She's a hometown girl.
The beginning funds on hand was $1,236.89. But we spent was $959.76 for an ending balance of $1,129.99.
and I think she's working in very fine, and we look to have a vibrant senior center
I do what I can.
after talking with her a couple times.
We're very happy to have you, man.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
We have on the street department, we have the bills that you talked about, and I'll get your comments on what money was spent on what parts. Down the tractor. We have been very busy working with Chris and Gracie picking up garbage cans, and I think that is again making a dent into the bill that we have in past payments. We have initiated, and we will be picking up on the Fridays, first and last Friday of the month. Plus, we had some calls, and I've been sending the street department out on those. Besides that, I don't think there's any road issues that we've seen. Any areas you think need to be addressed, or that the street department needs to work more out? Mowing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Main Street down McKinnon, the gutters on that.
Again, we will not be working on the gutters.
I don't know.
It's a personal responsibility for a homeowner.
But wait a minute, we just told somebody they couldn't park their car on the sidewalk months back.
Yeah.
Because it's a public sidewalk. So if it's me,
Sidewalk.
that's my yard, I'm not parking my car wherever I want.
The sidewalk is public property.
But we
But
don't maintain
but the
it.
gutter's not?
No,
Yeah.
the
it
gutter is their responsibility. Just
Who are you to tell me that I have to take care of public property? It ain't happening.
we're not doing the gutters. You see the houses going down McKenna where people have taken the time to clean up the grass in front of their gutters.
And that's
And
their
that's-
personal pride.
That's right. And if more people took pride in that, you wouldn't have all the grass in the gutter. We're not going down
Absolutely.
Mayberry. We're not going down any of the other housing areas to clean the gutters in front of people's houses. That is,
But you'll go down the ditch and clean the ditch out.
Unless it's the one on East.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Chuck,
To get
it
a
ain't
ditch
happening. You're not telling a private citizen that they gotta take care of a public property.
that's
You're
not,
not gonna enforce it. So you got a choice to either let the town look like crap or take care of it. Because it is public property. At the end of the day, it's the town's responsibility.
you're not thinking about.
I know so, because I've had AlDOT out and explain to me how that works. Because when I first moved here, I was told I was responsible for the sidewalk. And we got
If
for a
sidewalks become a hazard or a safety issue, we are responsible for
Oh,
it.
they are.
Yeah.
They're broken.
Yeah.
All down East McKinnon Street, those sidewalks are broken. So when somebody trips and falls and sues the town, might look
I'm
at
just
it a
saying,
little
the street
differently.
department should never be bored.
No.
There's always something to be done here.
I agree, and they're working.
And it's all on how you want the public perception of the town. It looks like crap. And it has, that road has since I've lived here. And it wouldn't be too much to have the guys go down and take care of those patches of grass that are always overgrown. And some of these people are disabled that's in front of their houses. So they're not gonna get out there and mow the yard. Some of them don't even have the means to do it. But you're the one in charge of the personnel.
So we did, again, budget-wise, we'll look at a supervisor.
Budget wise, we're way over budget for the street department. What are we even seeing out of it? You won't tell us. You said no, it's not your responsibility to tell us what they do. So we're just over
I'm not
budget.
told, I said I'm not gonna go down there and nitpick them on which houses they either picked up garbage cans from, or what areas they mowed, because I drive around the town just like everybody else, or which other houses he goes down Church Street and picks up the leaves in front of somebody's house.
Well, we've asked specifically what they do, and you said you gave a paper from 1825 that said you didn't have to tell us what their responsibilities were, but yet we're over budget, but we don't even know what they do.
1825.
I don't know when the date was. That just like come out of the top of my head. It was an old paper. No, it didn't even have a letterhead. It was just some writing from Microsoft. I don't know.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm done.
Any other questions or comments here before we move on? No, from the council. We're gonna get,
Public first?
yeah, no, with what we're discussing right now.
Oh, I do, but I was gonna wait till it's time.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
fine.
gonna wait for just like a statement.
Anybody from the town which is interested in making a public comment? Yes, ma'am, if you would come forward and give your name, please.
Okay. Where do you want me to stand?
Right in front's fine. That's
Okay. My name is Agnes Marie Primus.
Agnes
Marie Primus.
Marie Primus. Thank you, ma'am.
And I live at 126 Martin Luther King Street here in Brockton, which is a very short street. It only has, I think, a total of maybe 6 houses. I have a lot of complaints, but mainly 2. I talked to Councilman Flowers a few years ago, for most of a year, and also at that time, Councilman Terry was my fellow my district. My house was burned by a next door fire.
Okay.
September 22. I approached the council to see. No one lived there. It was an abandoned home. It was in the process of being torn down under the thing that you had going at one time, but somehow it fell apart. No one lived there. The fire caused almost $6,000 damage to the side of my house, which my insurance, other than my deductible, took care of it. I ended up paying about $400 myself after a period of time to have some of the debris moved because it looked so bad. I paid, it did a lot of damage to my house. And I really would urge each of you, if you have the time, it's right off Ansley Street by the gas station. Run down and look at my property. I take care of my property. And it's such a problem to have an ugly house with all of the weeds and stuff. And the people that owned the house, one of the grandchildren, did a GoFundMe. He didn't even live there. And he still lives here. The one that pays the taxes, I have all his information. Councilman Flowers worked with me to try to get information, contact him, a lot of stuff. He does not want to sell that little spot. He thinks it's worth a lot. If you look in the back, I have a lot there, which I pay every month or twice a month to keep the whole thing cut, because I just don't want a lot of junk running around me. But I am so frustrated that the town of New Brockton does not have some type of ordinance in place for people that don't take care of their property. Look like the city can cut it, send them a bill. But all of that debris, is still a lot of debris that they need to be taken away. I just paid for the little light stuff. But I have all the information. I even contacted, since I didn't feel like I could get a report here with the council, I contacted my cousin, Commissioner Jimmy Jones. He asked me to come back to the council, see if they could do something. If not, he would try to help me out.
What is your address, man?
126 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive.
You have.
I'll be by tomorrow. It's my district now.
Yeah,
I'll be by
This is the
tomorrow.
first I've heard of this.
And, I've heard of it
The
in
year I was
18
here
months.
in 23, Miss Holly was here.
I remember when you came. I wasn't on the council yet,
Right,
but I was in.
right.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Holly, she's very familiar, but with everything. But for the year of, it happened September 2nd, 22. I was here for 23, at least 3 or 4 times. And I came maybe once beginning of 24, and I just got so frustrated. The other thing, the area is kind of like it's just kind of, everybody doesn't take care of their property. I have swept this whole street for leaves from down in front of the school, black school where I went to school, Warren Smith, down to the end of Martin Luther King. And sometimes the guy from the school would come down with his lawnmower and would cut the debris or push, the leaves out. And I wish that you all would consider that area when you're doing the street cleaning, because I know you do good. because I see it sometimes in certain areas. So just think about where I am. I appreciate it very much.
That was one of those houses that William had code enforced on that he was about to take to court before he left.
It's like you've been around for fun. A couple of my
And
Let's find out. I don't know what's that.
what I had proposed, we had sent letters and all that, and what I had proposed was for the town to go ahead and just take care of it and clean it up, and then see if we could place a lien maybe on the, on the property. There's nothing there, but you still have to pay taxes on it, before it goes bad. So, but the town, we drug our feet. So, I'm like Mr. Primus, I lost sight of it as well because it was a hopeless effort to, we can only do so much, and we tried again.
Is it something we need to relook at?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if the town,
You'll see me tomorrow.
if the town could just go ahead and just take care of it, even if without contacting somebody, we could bill whoever or else place a lien on the property, on the land.
We have the
Well, part of
notification
it too is,
process.
I drive by daily on my way to work.
Yes.
if like volunteers, like clean up the neighborhood property,
They're not coming to see about it. The guy that she's referring to lives like in New York.
Don't we have ordinances on yard? I mean, if we were sending out those ordinances, I mean, after,
code enforcer, that's,
but
It doesn't take a code enforcement.
you can use the police department, right?
Here you can, it's an ordinance.
This is the first time I've heard of her story, so.
And
We'll look into it.
the
Well, I mean,
letters
the
that been
story's
sent-
not unique.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
all.
you can drive through the whole town.
Exactly.
Holy cow.
However, though, you can't, you'd have to start the process with that house all over again. You can't start from where we left off. It's been so long, we'd have to start all over.
That's right. You got
well, let's
120
start
days.
tomorrow. I mean, no brainer.
I agree.
I will be out there tomorrow.
I remember driving by the night that you came, like I said, I was in the crowd then, but, and your house is so nice, and that was years ago, that was before I was ever even on the council.
Alright, so
And-
I
and
know
then-
tomorrow, then
and-
what does that mean?
And then tomorrow, in fact, after Ms. Prentice came, one of the sons, Mr. Henderson came, and he showed out in here. I wasn't here that day, but either way, he came to talk on the, I don't know who was.
That's the one that started the GoFundMe.
And that's the one did the GoFundMe and got money from it, and didn't even live in the house. He's a grandson.
I have a problem too. I'll talk with Adam. I showed him, and Terry does my yard, but across the street, I don't want to look at this, and he mows that.
If that backside of that big 6 acre lot, that's actually over on
What that
South
man's
End.
name was that died, he got a brick house on this side of the street, and see, it runs, this land runs in front of my house. I live in 108 Clay Street. And Terry mows that part so I can see snakes or whatever. But it grows up, and Dwight has come down and bush hogged it when, but, I showed you that.
Right, that's,
Burning
yeah,
man.
right along the
Burning
edge of the
man.
street.
And that's Burning Man's property. And nobody takes care of that.
Well, the issue is, and I have brought this up actually, I believe I talked to Gracie about it once, but he's got a 6 acre lot. The front side of his property is actually on South English Street where his house is.
right.
And that area is very groomed and well kept.
But
The area that's right across the street from Ms. Harris' place is the backside of that property, and it's all wood. I don't know that we have any means to enforce him come and cut the backside of his property where he's got no structure. Really, I would think if anything, at least the town right of way should be cut by the town.
And the backside is also in front of my house.
And I don't know, I know in Florida, I think it's like 18 feet. In Alabama, I don't know how long the right of way goes in.
It
but I'm
depends,
sure
it's
that-
per road, whether it's state or town.
Yeah, but this is a town road, so.
It depends on the size of the road. Sometimes it's 25 feet from center line to center line.
mine is a big old lot, it's a big old thing he, cuts for me. And then another thing, on Angela Street, I guess you still call it manhole the way it is, but that hasn't been taken care of in years. And you have to go straddle or either around. And I know something can be done, but see, we on that side of town, okay? So we want some done on our side of town.
I brought that up as well. I know exactly what you, that was one of the first things I brought up when I took this seat.
You're talking about a manhole cover?
They're talking about the road right next to the end.
Yes.
Right there's two big manhole covers, I guess. I don't know if it was.
And we just straddled that. I've been here 36 years and I've been straddling for a long time.
And I asked about that, and your reply to me was it cost too much money. We couldn't afford to do it. We have to try to. And I said, well, let's try to get a DECA grant or a Rebuild Alabama grant to do the street. And nobody replied for it. But that was one of the very first things I brought to you when I took this seat.
There's actually a third one further up, not far from the police station. No, not police station, but fire department.
Yep.
Yes.
That whole street needs some serious attention as far as like being repaved.
Well, the last meeting or something here when I was here, that street supposed to be the next street to be worked on.
Right.
This was under Howard. That street right there is the next street is supposed to be blacktop and worked on.
And just never got done.
You know, I'm finna leave to go to Kentucky, but I still want the street to look all right.
Right.
I
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Ms. Herron. So we may need to look into. I know the Rebuild Alabama grants have a strict timeline to where you have to apply, and there's only like a 2 or 3 month window to do it. So that's going to be something probably that we need to look into.
So since Terry is cutting it, and I'm paying him, then y'all pay me for cutting that little part away. You give me some money for paying Terry for cutting it.
This might be the only way we can get it done.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll tell Terry tomorrow night at the board meeting.
So what now?
Catch you there.
Yeah. Hey, you want me to send a bill up there? Yeah. I will send one.
I'll get on the run tomorrow night, and he ought not be charging for that.
Well, Ron, he doesn't really charge me with that. He was my district.
Right.
And he takes care of my yard. And I don't want to look, see, it's ragged over there.
Right. That's
See, it's
right.
ragged
I know
over
exactly
there.
what you're talking about, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So next item, anybody else in the,
Huh?
any other comments? I'm gonna bring something up for you, unless you have something else, Ms. Herron? You have something else?
I think I'm all right now.
Okay.
I do have one question. I forgot. If you have a lot of tree limbs that need to be picked up, is there a certain length they need to be?
You'd like to have them cut somewhere between 4 and 5 foot if the limbs are fairly big. 4 and 5 foot sections.
The reason I ask because in the same, in front of my house, the Bernie Mike property, there's trees that's right on a bank, and it's really, the roots, it's not that much dirt that'll hold them. A lot of times when people go up and down the street, you can see limbs. The cars will run over and have to go around, and some of them may be as long as from that door to here, because the trees, they're old and rotten. And I'm always trying to break them up or cut them up, and I have a burn pile in my yard. Matter of fact, the fire department came down one day, thought my house was on
I can tell you there was not that long ago, back probably 3 or 4 months ago on Caldwell Street.
Yes.
There was a huge branch down
Exactly.
right in front of the apartments that had sat there for like a month.
So maybe
And I went there myself and cut it up and removed it because it
they
was
might
sitting there
need to
for
cut
so
some of
long.
those old limbs before they actually fall and do damage, because one did fall on somebody's car as they was going by one day.
But since it rains so much, and you've seen how all the trees have branched out, you can't hardly, the rain,
It's been
if
bad.
you ride through there.
It's been bad. I ride through
I
there
know you do.
probably twice a week.
I know you do.
As soon as you see a large limb falling across the road, we need to be notified so we can send somebody to pick it up. We did that out on Spark Street the other day. We had a crew out there. Anybody else? Move on for the council comments, starting with Mr. Rodriguez. Anything else to comment on?
I would ask Ms. Herron, did you hear anything from your Christmas parade people?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the comments I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
Ms. Herron is
Yes.
working directly with Councilman Rodriguez on the Christmas parade.
My other, Barbara Cole said she would do the same thing she was doing. And also Caledonia would work with you all. My friend said here, she would work. I got some more, Margaret Cole. I got a lot of people in place, you know,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
this to go on. Because they and them always do a good job with the police department.
I'm here to carry the torch that you lit, so
Thank you.
it'd be my honor to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank
So
you.
I appreciate you extending the offer to me.
Yes.
My pleasure. That's all I have.
Councilman Flowers.
Where do we stand on the contract for the garbage for Meridian? Is that was it an annual thing?
No, it's a 3-year contract.
Is it up this year?
No, we just signed it last year.
They didn't come by and pick up today.
They didn't get Mayberry today?
They did not.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to sit down and have another conversation with them for some consistency. But, you know, just like Councilman Askins stated, even if we try to enforce garbage pickup and go and pick up cans, we don't know when they're coming and when they're not coming. So we'll be waiting all day trying to figure out if they're going to come. But if we're paying on time, we should be rendered a service on time. So we need to have a conversation with them. I mean, I understand that you might be short-staffed. I understand that truck might break down, but their truck has been breaking down 2 out of the 4 weeks in every month, or some other bogus excuse. So
I'll call the representative in the morning, first thing.
I have a question. Is the contract with Arrow or Meridian?
I think
Because
the
Arrow
contract
sold
was
it-
with Arrow.
Yeah. So we don't have a contract with Meridian. We had a contract with Arrow.
We can look at illegalities of that, but I think that was turned over.
So when did we change over to Meridian?
Meridian, Arrow sold out
Oh,
to
they bought
Meridian.
them out.
Mhm. Mhm. But
So, and
I would
we
take a
can-
look at
We can ask the lawyer that question.
Yeah.
But I think the contract is still in place.
Who are we gonna go with anyways? Cause didn't we see, like, there wasn't no other options, was there?
MDI, Mark Dunning Industries. That's where we get the dumpsters from.
We really need to vet out that process, but you got to be firmed up some way. I mean, it's ridiculous what we're experiencing. And for the constituents of the town, they have to go
We
through
can get the representative to the working meeting.
And my next thing is on the ordinances on the website. I know this was something that Councilman Askins was working on in 60 Plus. I just don't have where we stand at on that. So where did we fall off it or what happened?
I don't know. That's my goal before this next election is to contact them, just tell them to get them to the mayor as is. Stop jacking around with them, and you know it'll be for you guys to, I guess, go individually and correct them as they go.
Which we tried to do, but yeah, we can look at them individually. Yeah.
So did they do any correct, or they just looked at them?
No, they codified them. They took, like, if there were several ordinances covering one, they put them together.
Yeah.
But then they had recommendations after that, and that we were supposed to approve. Yeah. That's where we're at. So at this point, I'm just gonna tell them just to send them to us, and then you guys just have to go over them one by one.
So essentially, could we go ahead and get them on the website now?
Absolutely.
And then if there's changes to be made, we can.
Yes.
I don't think we've got a clean copy to it.
We have a draft, but that's why I tell them to take it out of the draft and send it to you.
Yeah.
Post it so the public can see it.
Just all we have right now is a working copy that says draft all over it. So we need, like he says, we need to have them send us a clean copy, and then we can publish it.
Well, I would like to start going over them as soon as possible while Councilman Askins is still here before he leaves, since he's trying to dip out.
And I understand that that's a very wise idea, but we're short on time. But we need to get something out that our citizens can see, that they can go to the website, they can pull an ordinance if they need to or whatever, and not always inboxing me or whoever want to call one of you all. They can just go ahead and go to the website, pull it up, and see what it is that they need to see.
And then we probably need to also start implementing the ordinances that we put on the website.
Yeah. That's part of it. That's where the citizens will be able to hold the government, this local body, accountable. Hey, in the ordinance, it states that your grass cannot be any greater than 12 inches. That is written in there already.
I also have a question, because we had an incident earlier last week where someone called from California wanting our ordinances, and what our attorney said is those are typically people who want to go over the ordinances, look for things, how did he put it? Looking for things that aren't right or weren't done properly, and then they sue the towns.
They have a field day without it.
Yeah.
Well, they were looking
Well, that's-
for ordinances, they were looking for the minutes. They were
looking for minutes. But my question is, how would we combat something like that? Because we were able to have our attorney deny her public records request because she does not live in the state of Alabama. So she's not a resident of Alabama. So how would we combat that?
It's just minutes.
I mean, well, I don't know that we would want to get sued because something's worded, misworded.
We should be doing the right thing, and everybody should.
Right.
I'm talking strictly ordinances right now.
Yeah.
We can deal with risk mitigation later, but I'm talking strictly ordinances. For instance, if somebody wanted to know about the 4th of July fireworks, they need to be able to go on the website and say, hey, look, when can I pop firecrackers? When can I do da-da-da-da-da? And when do I need to stop? Those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. We can tend to risk mitigation at a later time with minutes and all that good stuff, but ordinances, we need to jump on that ASAP so that our people will know exactly what they can and cannot do.
Well, as far as risk mitigation goes, isn't that why we pay Shirley a monthly fee? Is for him to handle that?
That's one of
And he did. We can go into this, but if you look at page 24 in the magazine you have here, the question was in front of the ALM, who's going to bring this up anyways, can requests for records be denied if the requester is not a resident of Alabama? Alabama code says absolutely yes. You do not have to reply to any request outside of the state. If you read the rest of that paragraph, it talks about people in the state and how they can request records. So this was an out-of-state request. Shirley wrote us a letter. We emailed to these people per Alabama code.
Very good. Awesome. My next thing is, where are we on paving the roads? I mean, not paving, but the dirt roads. We were on a schedule for the dirt roads. I know Burville North was one of them, and then we had another.
There's 3 over in
Richardson was another one.
There's, unless I've been told that they need to have repaving.
No.
We did.
We were supposed to have a regular maintenance schedule for those dirt roads.
The
That
county
was what
comes
we
around
agreed
on a
on.
regular maintenance schedule and grades the roads.
What is the last road that was done?
Probably mine.
Ninth Willow.
Night and Willow.
Ninth Willow.
Okay. What's next on the list?
I'd have to ask the county what their schedule is, because they come around periodically and grade all of our dirt roads.
This leads me into when we start setting up our different departments, we need to have, not just for that particular thing, but I'm talking on a more general broad basis, regular audits on what we got going on, some KPIs, some key performance metrics that we know exactly what we're looking forward to. So when we go into this new budget, we should have at least 3 to 5 things that we're going to work towards for the street department, whatever that looks like. At the This Miss Harriet, Miss Promise area, we can put that as one big objective. Come back, we want to look at that in another quarter, and we want to make sure that those things have been done so we can move on to the next thing. All of those things need to be tied into our budget when we get ready to move forward. Having KPIs, having key performance metrics that everybody is meeting. Also going into this, we should have performance evaluations that's coming up. Annual performance evaluations. Those are the things that we need to be looking at for the increases that we're going to propose, as I've heard, that we're going to propose a 30% increase based off of what metrics. So
That's across the board.
Across the board, we did that in the past. That dog ain't going to point blank and period.
Because if I'm busting my tail and somebody else and he's getting the same raise I'm getting, that ain't happening right.
So we really need to be looking at this, and it's not about approving a budget for, in October. We can approve a budget prior to October, but we need to know exactly what we're working towards and what we're getting into for each department. Not just one department. We ride the police department harder than we ride any other department. We don't have a clue what the street department is doing whatsoever. No clue. I'm not getting on my soapbox, but I just want to make it real clear that it's parallel, it's not across the board. The expectations are totally different. Chief has a problem in one thing with police department. We're going to grill him for everything that he's worth. Street department, they get away with murder every single day. We don't know what they're doing. Still to this day, you don't even know what they're doing, Mayor. But we got to find a way to identify what our people are doing on a day-to-day basis. Don't bring a budget if we don't have objectives and goals to regularly audit what they're doing. That's just bottom line too. And that's all I got.
Next.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but I want to piggyback on what Justin was talking about again, the street department. I have one question. Do they have a schedule or are they by request only? And I understand you don't have to tell me that according to that paper.
We can create a budget without knowing what they do.
But that leads me to my next point. Depending on what that looks like, if they are by request only,
For
police and limb,
Everything.
or every other thing. Here's my suggestion for council to think about, again, with the same comments that Justin just brought up. Would it be more beneficial to contract out our properties, the town properties, to be cut by a local business, invest into a local business, have them cut our properties for us during the summer months, since we're not maintaining sidewalks, we're not doing this, we're not doing that? I mean, I'm just saying, are we by request only, or are we salary and on a schedule every week? Because if that's the case, then we can contract that work out cheaper than what we're paying for 2 salaries and trucks that break down, this, that, and the other, for citizens to come in and continuously being told. I mean, it seems to me like there is no schedule, okay? Because people wouldn't have to come into the meeting, and then I also noticed on the website, there's now a tip section where you put a tip in for the street department to come in. So that's all fine, but are we on a schedule? Are we by tip? If we're on a tip line, well, let's move to hourly. Let's save some money, okay? And then number 2, again, the cost that we're spending on these trucks and the fuel, and this, that, and the other, I just assume if we're not gonna maintain everything on a regular basis, let's contract out the work in the summer months. Let's contract out the works for tree removal and leaf and limb pickup to a local business. Now, I know liability would probably be way too high to co-op with the high school, but even still, I know there's plenty of high schoolers that would love to make what they make at the street department to go up and down the road. Leffelon doesn't. I mean, that's an enterprise. Why can't we incorporate our high school into that? I would also venture to say that if we have senior citizens that don't have the means to keep up their yards and whatnot, I don't know if we can establish some kind of volunteer service through the Senior Citizen Center, or even account that into the budget where we can help make that happen, because that's also, sorry, but unacceptable. So that leads me to my next thing. If we are having to do a tip to get our leaf and limbs picked up, I know at my house I've never had them come. I would like my $3 to be removed from my bill until I put that request in.
If I've never utilized that service, and I know we're talking realistically, what's 3 times 12? I don't do quick.
36.
Yeah, that. If we're at $36, I mean, but even still, that's gas. I mean, you never know. But if I'm not utilizing that service, I don't want to pay for it. Period. So I would like it to be considered.
Then what we can do is on a call basis, every time somebody calls in to have their leaf and limbs picked up, we charge them $25. And don't have a scheduled Friday, first Friday, last Friday plan, which is what I put in front of you guys a month ago.
Do you have somewhere for the community to
Well,
dump
and
that?
that leads me
Say
to,
again?
we have a dumpster that comes every now and then. So even still, if we were to eliminate part of this department, make some changes, and we have that dumpster under lock and key, you know, where there's a camera on it and that kind of stuff, where you don't have just people dumping at all times of the day and all times of the night, or even if you had to show proof of residency to make a drop at the front office in the back, again, we're still gonna come out cheaper than what
Well,
we're
the
paying.
dumpster isn't used for leaf and limb, not on the majority of people who put something in. They're picking up
If they're not
trash from
gonna
their
make a
property.
regular rounds to pick up leaves and limbs off the side of the road, shouldn't the town then be held responsible to provide the citizens with somewhere to dump their leaves and limbs?
Yes,
No. Where would you dump them?
it's a basic service.
Where, give me an idea.
I
Where
mean,
would
the
you
city of
dump them?
Enterprise got a place for it, but they go around weekly.
You know, again, the council just passed on that resolution to go with first and last Friday of the month for leaf and limb pickup, unless I get a call and then we try to accommodate these people.
See, that's
So
the part of the problem.
what I
Have a
would do-
policy and stick to it.
Then it should be the first and last Friday of the month.
Yeah, but you keep saying should. It is will.
We've done that in the last 2 months.
So then execute it.
We are.
I've had limbs sitting in right by my yard
Yeah.
for the past 3 months.
I'd
They've
like to
been
make a
cut
motion to
to
remove the
a
$3
certain
charge
weight.
from the garbage bill for the leaf and limb pickup unless you use the service.
And I burn mine.
Okay, but I'm not okay with charging people $25 to pick up their
Well, we
leaf.
would have to enforce that, wouldn't we? Is that, I don't know.
They're not
It's
proper.
it's the $30 charge in the ordinance.
But like, who's picking it
$25.
up though? I don't know, but I don't wanna take away that and then some slap on a $30 charge when somebody calls.
Well, these are all things we need to be considering when we're looking at this budget. Again, how we want to move forward, what personnel we need in the town.
And that's
And what we don't.
where the new budget needs to come into play.
We got a motion on the table that you need to address.
It's not,
Should I take it?
It's two.
it's $2.
$2, not $3?
We went up to 16 from 15 on the garbage and down to $2 on the leave and limb. That, I believe Selena made that motion, 3 months ago? When we did the garbage ordinance.
Well, I understand if it doesn't pass, but I make a motion to remove the $2 charge on the garbage bill for a leave and
Something-
limb charge
something
that
that-
people don't use until they use it. So again, if it's every other week, why can't you accumulate those tips and then give them a $3 charge, send them out on that week? I don't understand it, or $2,
My
whatever.
daughter-in-law, Deborah Harrell, I know who she is because she called up here several times. Her garbage sometimes doesn't even get picked up. Out there on the highway, and she's been up here and talked to somebody.
That's
I've talked to-
that's her regular garbage, not leave and limb that she calls and makes complaints about.
She called you.
That's the regular garbage, not the leave and
Regular
limbs.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, that's her regular garbage, not the leave and limbs.
No, I'm talking about both of them. I mean, the garbage is one thing that they keep not picking up out there. And she's called y'all several times.
I'm down to second it, Courtney. I second.
Yeah.
I'll second your motion to remove the $2 from anybody who does not use the leaf and limb pickup. And then if they
Or-
do use the service, then they're
Every
charged.
Okay, let's get into some meeting rules. Something that has never been brought up. First off, has to be unanimous by the council. And if it's unanimous by the council, then it can be discussed and voted on a second time by the majority.
That's on resolution.
Resolute, this, she's, same thing, she's trying to put a resolution forward here, not just a
Every motion that's made is not gonna be something that's on the
agenda. I agree.
So
But
that's not factual. You got a motion and you got a second.
Yeah.
And now you got a vote.
Yep.
And it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So
You have to deal with the motion on the floor. You can't ignore the motion on the floor.
well, let's put the motion to the vote.
I will vote no.
yes.
Yes.
No, no.
Yes.
All right. Try.
Now, if we go along with this resolution thing, and there's a tie, there's a second vote, and the mayor does not vote. Reference ordinances and resolutions and other things put before the council. So if we wish to call a second vote,
No.
I would love to hear the input of why y'all voted no. Like what
Just none, and I can answer mine, is that none of this matters if you're not willing to enforce the current policy that we have. This next one's not gonna get enforced either. So until we get the base of this town set, the ordinances set, and actual governing policies of the departments, you're wasting your time. And that's where we, as a group, are supposed to be working with you, and you are supposed to be executing the will of the people. You're the legislative branch, you're the executive branch. But instead of branches, this place is like a shrub. It's just-
My last question is, when is the lease up for renewal for Gamecocks Sports? I can't remember.
I think so, I'll have to look
That's
at
coming
that.
up.
I think so.
All right, that's all I've got.
Gamecock Sports lease.
They both know right now what's the difference. I mean, I don't feel like it's enough time to rethink, you know what I mean?
can we table it to the work committee?
We can.
Courtney, what if we table it to the working meeting and we can hash it out more then?
Yeah, I'd like to table it. Let's do that.
We gotta vote on that?
Any other comments?
Courtney?
I don't think I'm good.
That's right.
None.
What about, so is everything that we're voting on in November, is that already set on the ballots? Like, is
Yes.
that done?
Yes.
So alcohol sales on Sundays,
Oh, no, that's not on the ballot at all.
so it's not gonna happen for another 4 years.
No,
No, you guys have the ability to change that
when
it gets to that ordinance.
we're looking at that ordinance,
I thought that it had to go on the ballot for the citizens to vote on.
I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, the thing was is that the town come in to tell you what the
Right,
things are.
that's different though. It doesn't have to go for a vote for the citizens. It has to be like read aloud. They have to have a chance to come in and speak. But that was different from some of the other ones, and I'm not sure. We have to get the lawyer involved on which one, why they're different for each one.
I thought that it had to go on a ballot and everybody had to vote on it, is what I thought the next step was, but I could be wrong.
No, I don't know. That's what, if you handle one at a time and get with Mr. Shirley, then we should be able to tackle it in that manner, instead of trying to do everything at once like we do.
I'm just curious about that, because we do have a liquor store coming in, and we are losing sales to El Button Enterprise. I know that's a touchy subject, but I would like to revisit it if possible.
okay?
That's all I got.
Mayor's comments, couple of things that, one thing that came to light today, we were notified by an attorney out of
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee, sorry, up there somewhere. A possible lawsuit from a CDL driver, and we're not sure exactly what this means. We gave him the information to contact our lawyer. We don't know what CDL driver is bringing a lawsuit against the town. We don't have that information. It didn't come in until almost 3 o'clock this afternoon. So
he was trying to send us a notice of appearance. So I told him anything like that has to go through our town attorney. And the town attorney hadn't received anything by the time we talked to him. So maybe give it a few days and we might have some more information on who it is, what the reason is. But it's not a when or if, it's an R, because they have already accepted the case. So they will be moving forward with a suit.
Who's they? I mean, you should have been notified by official mail.
Well, they're going to. They have to get up with the attorney to get the attorney's address in order, because they have to go through our attorney. They can't just send it to us.
Gotcha. To me, nothing, they walk the walk. Nothing matters until you see it.
That's, all I'm saying is that we received initial notice today. Merrill has not received any notices as of close to 3:30 this afternoon. So this is just general information. We're going to follow it. Attended a meeting last week at Rucker. They're coming up with a new program to give towns a sister unit type thing. So if there's things we want to do around town, like we did the bicycle thing last year, we can call this unit. They would be an assistance in case there was an emergency of some sort. I'm going to give more information as I talk to the Fort Rucker headquarters and the lieutenant colonel of the 1st of the 12th Aviation Regiment, who is supposedly going to be assigned our sister unit, and we're working on that. We talked about it, and I think it was alluded a couple times. Again, if you look in your book on page 26, there's what council members are allowed and not allowed to direct employees of the town. We read this off once. Again, it's a question that came up at the ALM conference. I passed out the comments of or the offers for the old city hall. Please review those so we can look at them at the working meeting. One of the items that we're really struggling with right now is poll workers for the upcoming election. We need 4 people, people that live in the town that are registered voters to work as poll workers. I've got a couple names that Kathy Holly suggested, but we're working through that right now. I'm looking for any assistance that the council may know that somebody would want to volunteer to be the poll worker. They have to take some training. The polls are open from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, so it's a 12-hour day. They're paid $10 an hour.
No, it's supposed to be $150
$150 for the day.
and then $120 for the others.
Yes, the inspector is different than the poll worker, than the clerk.
Yeah, the poll worker is $120, $10 an hour. And then one of those people is the inspector.
The inspector gets more.
The inspector gets more, that's correct. So if you know of anybody that would be interested in assisting the town as a poll worker, we need that name as soon as possible. Yeah. They have to live in the city limits and they have to be a registered voter. Correct?
Yes.
That's what I read.
The training requirements, is that going to be through the week during normal business hours, or is it something they can do online, or what's the details?
Can't do it online.
Yes.
We'll be here in the week
Yes, in
in
person.
the city of Melbourne.
It's normally about 2 or 3 hours work. It ain't.
For just one day?
Yes.
Okay.
Luke, since you know so much about it, are you volunteering to work?
I can't work.
He doesn't.
I don't live in the town.
Aw.
So it's only 2
I'm
or
the
3
inspector
hours?
at the master.
Yes.
Luke, it's only 2 or 3 hours from
Yeah.
one day?
Yeah.
And then it's the day of the election, right?
And the day of the election.
I'm not volunteering anybody, but I'm just getting some facts. I've got to sell it.
Can we sign?
No,
I
you,
was about to say,
I'll show you something on the way out.
or
Come see me.
your spouses. There's my spouse could not sign up because there is a 2-family, what do you call it? Anybody associated with my family would have to be my son
2
his
degrees
son,
of separation.
And then, yeah,
That's right,
separation.
that's right.
2 degrees of separation.
Yeah, so it'd be, my son couldn't do it, his son couldn't do it, and if he had a child that was old enough, that person could do it.
Because you're running, right? Only the people who are running, does that matter?
So we need friends.
Yes, please. And as soon as we'll get the dates. I don't know if you have a date yet. Is it gonna be more than one? I don't know. Last item, next meeting is scheduled for the working meeting on the 21st of July. Final questions or comments? Motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes.